Perfect.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Brave Storytime. My name is Lisa Karasek, and I am the community manager for Brave Healer Productions. Joining me today is James. Say it one more time.
Kawainui.
Kawainui. He's going to be reading his chapter for us today from the book Ancestors Within, Volume 1. It is a series. And your chapter is titled Clearing Ancestral Trauma, Letting Go of the Cycle of Pain and Suffering. So James, real quick before you read your chapter, I just have a couple questions.
Sure.
How did you come to be in this book?
How did I come to be in this book? I met Amy, I think, through the Ultimate Guide to Healing 4. And I was just new into Laura's world, and I came into Laura's world through another co-author. Her name is Lulu Trevino, and so Lulu is back in 2020. We had just moved from Phoenix to Sedona, and I realized that I wanted to write, but I realized that I needed a community, because if it was on me to write on my own, I wasn't going to be able to. And so I was getting ready to join a writers group or take some writing classes. And I swear, about 4 days later, I got this Facebook message from Lulu, and she said, I think I got something that's right up your alley, is what she said. And so she introduced me to Laura. I fell into Laura's world. It was right about the time that Ultimate Guide to Healing #4 was about to get started. And all the books, and I would just say in Laura's world, I was in 9 anthologies. So over 2.5 years, I was in nine of those collaborative author books, which was really amazing for me. And this was one of those books that I was in. So
Wow, I knew you were in a couple, but I didn't realize you were in that many, and like you said, in such a concentrated time. Wow. Good for you.
it was I kept asking the team, how you have the team, right? Your collective etheric team. And I kept asking the team, and the team, every time I asked, they'd say yes. And I was like, really? You want me to do another one? And they'd say yes. And so it was like, yes, yes, yes. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. So I did.
I understand that too. I've had that conversation too myself. Okay. So I think you just answered my second question though, but so why did you want to write this chapter? So aside from your team's guidance, when you said yes to this book and this chapter, why the particular story that you wrote then?
It was a story that happened to me, and it was a story that I thought that was powerful because of the message that it had. And, the work that I do a lot of the work that I do is with clearing ancestral trauma and trauma in general. And so when Amy approached me with this book and she said what this was about, the story popped up. And this is something that happened to me back in 2010. So it's been quite a few years ago that it happened. And it had such a profound effect, and it, in a lot of ways, changed the course of my life. And so when we started talking about reveal and heal the ancestral memories you carry, I thought that this led perfectly into the theme of the book, which is really why I wanted to write it.
Beautiful. So then how did it feel writing your chapter, this particular chapter?
Well, every time you write, you're bearing some part of you. So there's always that cathartic piece. I probably rewrote this chapter 4 or 5 or 6 times, and you do the dump. This is what I learned. You do the dump, and then you come back and you look at it, and then you take out all the superfluous stuff that is just extra words, and then you keep honing it. And I wanted to bring the stories in so that it felt not believable, but people felt like I felt like people could go on a journey with me.
That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Well, are you ready to invite us onto a journey with you right now? Are you ready to read your chapter?
I am, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna give it over to you then.
So my chapter in the book was, I'm gonna grab my glasses real quick. My chapter was chapter 22, and it was called Clearing Ancestral Trauma, Letting Go of the Cycle of Pain and Suffering. My life was coming apart at the seams. I was 2,637 miles from home in a city where I knew all of 6 people, 7 if you counted the girlfriend who was about to dump me. I was alone, depressed, and unsure of my direction. I still had my return ticket to New Zealand. I could go back there. I had friends, family, and a life waiting for me. But that's not where my kupuna, my ancestors, wanted me to be. You need to move to the mainland because people there need you and are looking for you. Was I out of my mind? So when I heard you need to do a ceremony, I knew I had to listen. I knew this was important. It isn't often that I get messages like this. Years ago, when I walked away from my other life, I realized that my kupuna had been trying to and waiting to talk to me. As I listened, my life started to shift in radical ways. With their guidance and direction, my life took a turn I never knew could have, or I never could have imagined. It was a reason I had left New Zealand, returned home to Hawaii, and was now in Portland, Oregon. I asked when and where the ceremony was to take place. It needs to be by the ocean. They were very clear of that. They also gave me the vision of the stones and the crystals and the ingredients I would need for the ceremony. Got it. I got it. Early in a foggy October morning, I woke up and realized that this was the day. My Saturday had mysteriously cleared, all of my appointments either canceled or rescheduled. My thought was to get to the beach around sunrise. I could barely see beyond the headlights, the road eerily devoid of any other vehicles, the fog opening up begrudgingly only to close again behind me as I drove. I had a general direction in my head, but didn't quite know where I was going. Every time I began to question myself or worry that I was lost, my amakua in the form of a hawk or an owl appeared out of the darkness, perched on a power line or tree just at the edge of my headlights. In Hawaii, our amakua is akin to a person's spirit animal. Just keep driving, they said. Miracle of miracles, I got to the beach as the sun was coming up. I was in Seaside, a popular destination for Portlanders. The morning was clear and bright. I got out of the car, walked up to the sand dunes. Is it here? No, they said. Keep driving. Knowing it was useless to argue or question, I got back in the car and I drove. Cannon Beach? No. Rockaway? Nope. Lincoln City? Not even close. I kept driving southwards, stopping every few miles, and slowly made my way down the coast, each stop being met with, not here, keep going. I had lost track of time, seriously hungry. I stopped for lunch in Newport, having driven over 250 miles at that point. I got back in the car and kept going. By now it was late afternoon and raining like nobody's business. I had no idea where I was and I was about to give up when I caught a tiny hand-painted sign out of the corner of my eye. If I hadn't been paying attention, I would have missed it. To Makai, it said. Makai in Hawaiian means to the ocean. What are the odds that I would find that in Oregon? Immediately past the sign was a state park, no cars. This is the place, stop now. Really? Here? In the rain? I'm not thrilled, but I know it's useless to grumble. I park, get out of the car, put on my raincoat, and walk out to the beach. I find a place to sit on the sand and gather myself. I pull out the offerings I was instructed to bring and place them in front of me. As I do, I say a prayer of gratitude and thanks and call out to my kuna, my ancestors, to ask for their guidance as I journey to seek answers. I dig a hole and I bury everything. I turn on my iPod to a track with Native American drums that I use when I journey and go within. Spirit journeys have been performed by indigenous cultures all over the world since time unfolds. They are done for many reasons, one of which is to help one understand the path that one must take on our journey of life to receive answers to questions and guidance on things that may be happening in our lives. A spirit journey is a route that is taken to the spirit world. This can be in the form of an entry into a cave or through unfamiliar territory as you move away from the earthly realm and into the realm of spirit. The spirit journey is often accompanied by the pulsating, irregular, and highly monotonous beating of drums or rattles, which help to create an altered state of consciousness. The darkness of the spirit tunnel leads to the entrance to the other world where the spirit seeker emerges. I arrive at the entrance of a small darkened cave. There is a reddish glowing light against the far wall. 20 or so people are in the cave, standing in shadowy silhouettes, their faces hidden. I realize the soft murmuring I'm hearing is the sound of their voices, although in this moment, I cannot understand what they are saying. I feel no fear. I stand in the silence and still myself, becoming as fully present as possible to what is in front of me. The silhouettes part suddenly, and there in the center of the cave is a little boy of about 5 or 6 years old. He stands in stark relief to everyone around him. There's a realization that the little boy is me. The voices are now recognizable. There is an instantaneous knowing that I am standing before generations of my ancestors. We always wanted you to have our knowledge, they said. We share it freely with you always. It is here for you whenever you need it. It's a part of you. Know that as truth. What we don't want is for you to carry our pain and our suffering. That does not belong to you. It never did. Whatever happened in our lifetimes was never your responsibility to carry. We apologize for the pain it has caused you in your life. What happened to us in our lives is our burden to bear, not yours. We ask that you let it go and give it back to us. Know that we love you and are here to support you. We see the work you're doing. You're never alone, and we are always with you. All you need to do is reach out and ask for guidance and feel our connection. Our knowledge is yours to access and share, but our pain is our own. Honor us by releasing it. A wave of energy washes through me like a breeze blowing gently across my body. There's a different awareness inside of me, and I'm not entirely sure in this moment what it means. The child, along with my kumpuna, begin to dissolve, the cave slowly flickering out of my vision. I feel myself slowly returning. The drums have stopped beating in my headphones. I realize my butt is wet from sitting on the sand, and I'm cold. It's still raining. I'm back in this world again. I stand up slowly and walk back to my car on shaky legs, not totally in my body yet. The message, so powerful, still resonating through me as I gradually begin to grasp what my ancestors were saying to me. Their presence feels different now, stronger than it was before. That was about 14 years ago. Every day I pray in gratitude for the connection and the relationship that I have with my ancestors. What I learned from this experience is that we all have the ability to let go of the pain and embrace the amazing gifts that are waiting for us to tap into. What happened to our ancestors, the pain they went through, passed down to us from generation to generation, is not ours to carry. Traumatic events, affect us so deeply that they can literally change the vibration and frequency of our cellular structure down to the atomic level and the DNA. We not only inherit our physical appearance and our body's cellular structure, we can also inherit the behavioral traits, ways of being, and conditioned mindsets of our ancestors. We have family patterns that we consciously or unconsciously replay over and over, never realizing that they may not be ours. Have you ever caught yourself mimicking or replaying events in your life and then have an insight or sudden awareness that you've watched or seen someone else in your family act or behave in this very same way? You may be replaying patterns, consciously or unconsciously, that go back multiple generations without even being aware of it. I worked with a woman a few years ago who came to me because of a recurring knee issue. Having been to numerous doctors and specialists and not being able to find answers or get relief, she felt she was out of options and was considering surgery. During our sessions, as we looked into the pain to see what was happening, she shared with me that not only did she have problems with her knee, her mom, her sister, her daughter, and her grandmother also suffered from the same issue. It turned out that just about every female member of her family she knew of at some point in her life struggled with pain in the same knee. As we went deeper, we discovered through the memory held in her body that a grandmother over 4 generations earlier had been injured in an accident and her leg had been amputated at the knee. She did survive, but was in pain for the remainder of her life. Once my client's awareness of the accident came into focus, she realized that the pain was not hers. In that moment, her body let go of her ancestral grandmother's trauma, and the pain literally vanished. There's a way of recognizing and releasing the behaviors and actions of our ancestors so they no longer affect our quality and way of life, while continuing to honor the people who have come before us. I want to share one such way that I was shown by my kapuna that has helped many people that I've worked with over the years. There is a caveat though. It requires a willingness to look deep inside of yourself and be brutally honest about how you've been living your life. I promise there is hope and a way past the pain you've been carrying. It is time to look at it so you can give yourself permission to let it go. Transformation may shock and surprise you, but if you're ready, let's take that next step. So the tool, letting go of the cycle of pain and suffering. Most of us carry trauma and memories in our bodies that have been passed on to us by our ancestors. They may come a time in your life when you become aware of the patterns and behaviors that have replayed over and over, and you make a choice to examine them at a deeper level. With reflection, it is important to note that there is a level of personal responsibility for everything that is happening and has happened to us in our lives. For those who have suffered intense trauma, this can often be a very bitter pill to swallow. It is my belief that the soul chooses the physical body it comes into, as well as the people it will be in relationship with, such as parents, family members, or even partners. This is done as part of its process of growth and expansion. Before we can look at what we may have inherited from our ancestors, we must first acknowledge that we came into embodiment for the lessons and understanding that allow us to grow as we travel the road towards increased self-awareness and enlightenment. With this understanding, we can then take the next step and choose how we want to live our life, independent of the old patterns and conditioning. Have you ever watched your parents, grandparents, or other family members of your family replay a particular pattern of behavior throughout their lives? You may even have heard stories about aunts, uncles, or great relations, some of them 2 or 3 more generations back, who have been plagued by the same challenges. Alcoholism can be a good example of this. You may be even watching your children begin to go through the same challenges. You know you're finally ready to take a hard look at whatever this is so that you can make a conscious choice to stop living that pattern. If this is you, then let's begin. Find a quiet place or a space that you feel will support you as you go through this process. It could be in your meditation room, in front of your altar. It could be somewhere out in nature. Choice is entirely up to you. You can simply light a candle as a way to help hold and create sacred space. Gently close your eyes and take a deep cleansing breath. Find a rhythm and pace that feels good as you consciously breathe in and out. As you do, bring your awareness into your body and feel your breath as a physical act. This will help to center and ground your energy. Give yourself permission to go deeper and feel your body as you begin to relax. When thoughts come into your mind, gently let them go. Give yourself time to settle before you go on. Now invoke your ancestors through prayer and call them into a circle of light. Here's a suggested prayer you can use, or create one yourself. I call out to Sky Father and Earth Mother and to the ancestors of the land. I ask for your help and support as I open this sacred space. I call out to the four directions to help anchor this space. With gratitude and love, I invite my ancestors. Beloved family, thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for the wisdom, the gifts, and the challenges that you freely share with me. I also give thanks and call to my guides, guardians, and angels to be present as we go through this honoring and this ceremony. Feel the energy as it anchors around you in the presence of all who are in attendance. In your mind's eye, see yourself in a circular room with dark paneled walls, lit by candles and sconces on the wall around you. To your right is a small table, also circular, about waist high. There's a candle on the table, as well as 4 bundles about the size of small grapefruits, wrapped in plain muslin cloth. You feel, rather than see, the presence of your ancestors in the room circled around you. 4 of your ancestors step forward to stand in front of you. They are nondescript, each wearing a plain cloak with the hood pulled over their head, their faces hidden from view. Who they are and how they look is not important. They stand as representatives of the generations that have come before you. Silently, the first figure to your right steps forward, arms outstretched, head bowed. You reach for one of the bundles on the table and hand it to them. I release the thought that I am not worthy back to you. They accept the bundle, touching it reverently to their forehead, and slowly step back, disappearing from view. As they do, the next figure steps forward. You reach for the next bundle on the table. I release the pain I've carried for you. The second figure holds the bundle in front of them in silent prayer and acknowledgement and slowly steps back, fading out of sight. The third figure steps forward. You reach again for a bundle on the table and with gratitude and thanks, hand it to them. I release back to you all the suffering and injustices. They bow before you, head, bundle held high in front of them as they slowly step back, turn around, and walk away. The last figure steps forward. There is a hesitancy. It too reaches out as you hand the last bundle to them. I release the feeling and thinking that I am not loved. It slowly and gently brings the bundle to the center of their chest as if cradling a baby. You feel the deep love and connection as they begin to glow brightly, filling yourself in the room with the energy of unconditional love. Become aware of the change going through your body. Feel a new sense of freedom, both physically and energetically. There's a new sense of presence to your ancestors around you. The darkened room is now full of light. There's a deep sense of connection and support. There is a knowing that your ancestors are there, as they always have been, to guide and support you. All you need to do is reach out and ask for help. Their energy merges into you. You become one.
Is that your chapter? Thank you.
You're welcome.
How are you feeling? How did it feel to read that out loud?
Well, it was really interesting because I read it to myself this morning, in preparation for this. And I said, well, I really should read this out. And even again, reading it, as I talked about the ceremony that I went through, there was there's still emotion inside of that. You know, that was a very powerful ceremony for me. That was it, and what happened. So there's always emotion inside of that, and I love this work, and I love helping people step past this pain. You know, I see it all the time, and when we give ourselves the opportunity to change that and come into the different relationship with our ancestors, there's so much more information, there's so much more connection that's available to us. So it means a lot to me to have been able to share this with people.
Beautiful. Yeah, great story. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to share at this point? Anything else about the work that you do, about, connecting, about ceremony? Do you have anything that you're offering to the audience, or?
Well, I will say to people that I offered free 30-minute consultations. I love to talk with people. And even if we end up not working together, if there's something that I can give them that they walk away with that creates change in their life, then, in some ways I've done my job. If people do get the chapter and they decide to look at it, there is a download and a PDF that goes along with this. The PDF is the prayer, and the download is the meditation. So there's a MP3 meditation that goes with the chapter if people want to find that and opt in for it. So, and at the bottom of the at the end of the chapter is a link for the 30-minute healing. I call it Get Back on Track. And so people being able to get back on track, or if people want to, they can find me on social media, and they can go to my website, www.jameskawainui.com. So I don't think that there's any person that should be going through challenging situations in their life and think that they can do it on their own. We all need help. I have people that I go to, and so it's always good to know that there are people that we can rely on when we need it.
So true. Yes, absolutely. And don't worry, everyone. I'm going to have all of James's information, all of his links, everything in the notes here below the video. And for the Facebook, you're going to come back into Facebook once we finish the live stream there, and you're going to add your links and all of the ways in which people can find you, and this PDF and this download of your meditation for them. So don't worry, everyone, you can still get everything. And of course, we want you to get the book. So thank you so much, James. What an honor.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for asking me on today. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with everyone.
Of course. It's definitely an honor to work with you as well. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Brave Story Time. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.